Okay, let's take a look at the materials needed to make this project. Now actually, to make the basic jewelry box, you don't need that much. Right? You need some cardboard. One medium-sized box should be enough. And for the interior, you need an old t-shirt or a colored t-shirt. This is what's left of mine, but you can use whatever color you want. Like this is nice dark blue or a light blue or any color you want. T-shirt. You need, to cut the t-shirt, you're going to need scissors. To cut the cardboard, you're going to need, some kind of a cardboard cutting tool or a knife. Let me see, you're going to need a straight edge so you can measure out good straight lines and cuts. And to make the ring holder, you're probably curious about that ring holder. This is actually just t-shirt and cardboard. And what I've done is I've peeled off the top layer of paper from the cardboard to make that and to form that shape. You can put the rings in there. So that's a clever, I think that's a clever little setup. To assemble it all, you're going to need some glue. White glue is nice. And if you have a hot glue gun, that would be wonderful. It makes it go a lot faster and it's actually easier because you can get good solid hold real quick. And to paint it, you're going to need a paintbrush container, some white paint, and I sealed it all with Mod Podge to give it a little bit of shine and to give it a nice seal. That's optional. And let me think, another optional thing is here that I bought these little mirrors on Amazon to they're like 2" by 2" mirrors on Amazon for the inside, but you could buy a little compact mirror or something from the dollar store and remove that and use that in your music box. And also, now to make this music, I bought one of those cards on Amazon that you can record a message on. Record a message. You press the button, you record a message. I recorded a tune and then installed that in the music box. And as far as the images go, if you want these images, they're on the website. You can download them and print them up yourself. That's Sleeping Beauty. And this I like that. You can write in that, like put some person's name in there, somebody's name, or whatever you want, any kind of a message you want in that, and then just glue it on and Mod Podge over it. And that's it. Doesn't take a lot to make the basic music box. You literally could just do it with, if you didn't want the music or the mirrors, it's cardboard, a t-shirt, and glue. And I'll show you how to do it all. And it's a nice sturdy jewelry box. Okay, so let's get started and make this beautiful jewelry box. We start with the base of it. It's 9 by 6 inches. Cut out 2 of those. And if you can, alternate the direction of the corrugations between the 2 pieces. Like on one piece they go left to right, and on the other piece they go up and down. And I didn't do that in this one. That was my mistake. The corrugations are going in the same direction, but if you can, alternate yours. Now we're going to one of them, we're going to cover it with t-shirt cloth. So easy enough, cut a piece. And you can do this project any way you want and use the techniques to make your own jewelry box the way you want to, with any kind of different things, different size, different shapes, different compartments. But I'm going to show you all the skills and techniques you need to do it. So now I was like, I don't like this. This t-shirt is wrinkled, doesn't look too good. So what did I end up doing? Breaking out the clothes iron. I should have done that first. Didn't think of it. There you go. That looks much, much better. And here's a nice little technique. I couldn't say technique or trick. is to use regular PVA white glue on the whole surface, nice and even coat. And if you don't want the cardboard to curl, you coat the other side too, even though you're not going to be applying a full amount of t-shirt to it. But apply that t-shirt to the cardboard. And what a big difference this makes in the jewelry box, having that nice soft cloth in there rather than the harsh cardboard. See, so we should glue this whole thing or paint it to prevent curling of the cardboard. I end up with a little bit of curl, and I'll show you how that gets corrected. But let's say, just fold it over. You don't have to do the whole cardboard piece with the cloth on this side because it's going to disappear. I'll show you. Actually, we glue it to our second piece we had cut. Now, I would recommend you don't use a spray adhesive for this. You might think a spray adhesive would be good, but with the spray adhesive, once that cloth touches, you can't move it. It's very tricky. You have to pull the cloth up and try to reseat it, so it's difficult to get wrinkles out if you use a spray adhesive. For some cardboard projects, spray adhesive is wonderful, but for something like this, no, just go with plain old PVA white glue. All right, well, there we go. So, and then glue the two together. And the reason why we're doing two is for strength. We want a durable jewelry box. Jewelry/music box. Well, and if at this point you're really, really curious about that structure that holds rings, you can hop forward into this tutorial to the 14-minute and 50-second mark. That's where the ring holder starts. That's a nice little technique there. Anyway, our base is done. Now let's do the four sides. See, this is we'll say two sides and a front and a back. And it gave you the measurements of this there. And that line drawn on that is 1.5 inches from the bottom. That's where we glue the base. I like the creativity of this project because if you're making your jewelry box, you can probably come up with all kinds of interesting ideas. One thing I didn't do was you can use little, what do you call them, elastic straps that are like fabric to hold along the lid so you could hang like necklaces and stuff like that. So there we go. The back's 9.5. I wrote it there in the picture so you could see what the front and back size is. And once again, that's 1.5 inches from the bottom, is that line. And if you have specialized jewelry, you could, or you have different types you want to separate, you could, make different compartments in the bottom of the box or in the top lid of the box, the top shelf. So there we go, starting to look like an actual box. Now go ahead and glue all of those as needed to make it nice and strong. That's why I said, if you have a hot glue gun, it comes in handy for this project. So now let's line the inside of the box with cloth. Cut yourself 4 pieces like this that are the same size as that internal box. See, that one's a little bit short, which is okay, but 4 pieces all along the inside, and then cover them with your cloth. Just a single layer of cardboard is fine for this. Although in the next set we're going to double up. I'll show you that. But just like we did with the bottom, glue the cloth to it, fold it over, glue it down. Now, I didn't give you exact measurements for these 4 pieces because depending on the cardboard you use, it might vary a little bit. You just measure it yourself to fit snugly into the box like this. And cover up that space, and that'll make the lining of the box really nice. Try to get it so it's pretty close to the top, matches the top of the inside of the box. It doesn't have to be exact, but it looks really good, doesn't it? So now, now we're going to make the standoffs for the shelf for our shelf, and notice the direction of the corrugations. Those, I guess you could call them spacers. They're 1.5 inches tall, and they're doubled. So each one is a double of cardboard, 2 sheets of cardboard. And then, do your typical technique of covering them with cloth, and then glue them into place like this. Now our inserted shelf, or I think tray might be a good word for it, will sit right on top of those. There we go. Looks good. So now let's make this shelf or tray. Cut yourself a piece of cardboard that fits in there. Not snug. Make it with a little bit of space so it easily can be put in and taken out. Cover it with cloth. And then make some of these walls of it that are 1/2 inch, yes, they're 1/2 inch tall. And for now, just put one like this on one end. And you'll see why, because now next we're going to make the ring holder. But that's all we're only going to put one edge on for now. Looks good. And then, you could, go ahead and do just all the way around the end, all the way around this circumference of the square, of the rectangle, 1/2 inch tall. And the reason why I said that is there one more we can't put in yet until we put the ring holder in. Glue them in and add hot glue as needed to make them nice and strong. Particularly on the corners where they meet. I thought about trying different colors, like the tray could be one color and the inside of the box could be another color. Do it whatever way you like it. So now the ring holder. It's a nice technique we do here, and it just uses cardboard and cloth. So let me show you. Cut yourself a piece of cardboard. Now the direction of the corrugations is important here. So notice the directions go from side to side. And that's 3 inches wide. And I cut a very generous piece. It's around, I think mine was around, 18 inches long, just so you have extra. What we actually want is the one layer of craft paper. So go ahead and pluck that off slowly with a nice satisfying snapping sound. And it's going to end up being in there just like this. So measure it out like this. Start out with about 1 inch on the left And then every line there, 8 of them, every line is 1 3/8 to make, I think it is 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think it's 8 segments. And then pre-fold all of this like this. Get a good crease on them. This will help to form the curved shapes, the road bumps, I guess you go. What do you call those road obstacles? And keep all your extra paper for now. Don't cut anything yet. And then use some kind of a cylindrical object. Oh, I'm sorry. Now glue it to cloth and cut it away. But that pre-creasing will help. That you pre-creased it helps a lot with forming the curves. Now use some kind of a cylindrical object here to preform the curves even more. Try to get it as close to, I used a hot glue stick, works pretty good for this. We're just preforming it and do them all I think 8 of them. It will help a lot in the final assembly, which is coming right up. We're going to glue this down to a piece of cardboard. So I think this is a clever technique, and it shows you some of the versatility you can use with cardboard. Cardboard is not just cardboard. It's also craft paper that can be used for a lot of different things. Now cut yourself a 3-inch wide strip of cardboard and glue those down to it. And each one at a time, is what's important here, is to form that shape. Form that shape, and this is by hot glue gun. It works really good for this because you don't have to wait too long before starting on the next one. But you kind of push it in, form the circle around your glue stick, glue it down, let it cool, and then move on to the next one. But you'll get a sense for this. And you could even, if it's difficult for you, you could just do a practice one. And you'll get a feel for how it works. It takes a little bit of, I guess, skill to get it. But just continue that process till you get all the road bumps done. There we go. Looks good. I'm finishing up the last one. And then trim it down and glue it in place. Yay! Good job. If you made that, good job. That might have been something that could have been a different color. I could have used the other color t-shirt for that. And then now we finally placed that last piece I was talking about. That's half an inch tall, covered with cloth and then placed in, and that finishes off the ring holder. And one last thing is, cut yourself some of that craft paper and make a little pull tab. You're going to need a pull tab. Make it generous in size so it holds really well, so you can pull the tray out. Okay, so now the lid, and I'm going to show you a technique for curving cardboard. If you watch my videos, you already know how to do it. But if you're new to my stuff, I'll show you an easy way to curve cardboard. Now, we could have done a flat lid, which would have been fine. And if you want to do a flat lid, go right ahead. But I want a little bit of a curve on my lid. I think it looks better. So cut a piece of cardboard the same size as your box, so it will sit right on top nicely. Cut 2 short arches, like this, and glue them to the sides, left and right. There you go, the magic of video editing, glued left and right. And then cut yourself a piece for the top, and notice the direction of the corrugations. That's really important for curving the cardboard. But remove one layer of craft paper, and this time we don't need the craft paper, we want the rest of the cardboard. And we're going to curve it just like that. See how easily and beautifully that curves? So now we can glue that on the top. So now we've glued that all together. If you haven't done it already, I could glue a cloth to it. So the inside is covered with cloth there, covered with cloth. And now if you want a mirror, you can buy one at a dollar store for maybe $1. Pop it out of its container and glue that on. But I ended up buying these craft mirrors. I have a bunch of them, 2 inches by 2 inches, and they don't look very shiny because they're coated with like a paper. So, but once you apply it, then you peel that paper off. They're really very nice. And I'll put a link to those in the description of this video if you'd like the same ones. You might be able to buy a larger one. They're acrylic, so they're not glass. They're safer. So now we make a hinge for the back of that. See that? It's just craft paper that's folded like that, and then glue it to the inside and then to the side of the box. And hey, let's paint it. A couple of things. I painted mine white. Paint yours any color you like. Decorate it any way you want. But when it's done, if you want it to be stronger and more durable and last longer and stay clean longer, you coat it with something. And I like Mod Podge. You can coat it with Mod Podge. Once that paint dries, coat it with Mod Podge. If you don't have Mod Podge, consider mixing white glue with water 50-50 and then brushing that on. It will act like a coating, almost like a thin plastic coating. So now I'm spreading the Mod Podge there. And that's that. So, not much more to go here. If you want these exact illustrations, they're on my website. I get a link in the description down below for the Sleeping Beauty and the vines and flowers. So you can Mod Podge them on and then Mod Podge them afterwards to keep them sharp. So now the musical card. I recorded that onto the card, that music onto the card. I have that recording for you if you want that same recording. So we insert it into the lid, between the 2 layers of the lid, and cut out a little slot there for the tab, because when the card opens, that tab opens, the music starts. So the card goes in the lid, the tab goes in the slot, and it gets glued to the top, how do I say this, to the top of the side of the box. I'll show you. So when you open it, the tab, the card, it's like opening the card, and the music will start. Let's take a quick look at this from the inside. Here we go. So see, the tab is glued to the top of the side of the box. So it opens the card and the music starts. And the card is hidden inside the lid. That's it. Our jewelry box is done. Let's take a quick look, one final look. Thank you for watching. If you make this project, send me a picture. I will send you a certificate of contribution.